And turning to the latest here on Milton. So right now that center of circulation is about 68 miles offshore. Landfall still expected toward our north, likely close to the Sarasota-Manatee line. Now, provided it continues that trajectory toward the north and east around 17 miles per hour, that means it could make landfall as soon as 4 hours from now. So right around 8:30, definitely something we're going to be watching. Now, of course, if it slows down, then we're going to be seeing landfall a little bit later. But based upon that current forward speed, that's what we could potentially see. So that's kind of our earliest expectation. Now, we are seeing the heaviest of the rain now off toward our north, directly in and around where that eye wall will be making landfall. Sustained winds 125 miles per hour, gust to 175, central pressure up to 950 millibars. We will be receiving another update from the National Hurricane Center here within the next 25 minutes. So landfall is expected as a strong Category 3, just shy of a 4. We have to keep in mind Category 4 is at 130, so we've dropped it slightly, sure, but still this is a very strong Category 3 storm. And again, we stay on that southern side, the front right quadrant, the most dangerous part of a storm to be in because of that threat for storm surge. And unfortunately, that's what our friends, especially in Charlotte County and Sarasota, are really gearing up for. But really, our entire coast will be inundated. First-story structures will be going underwater. Any vehicle that is at ground level will absolutely be flooded. So here's the latest. Right now, winds are still out of the southeast and the south, so we do still have those bands of rainfall. Thankfully, the tornadic cells are away from us, though, now affecting our friends here on the East Coast from Fort Pierce down to Boca Raton, including West Palm Beach. But the tornadic cells there on the East Coast were kind of in a bit of a break, but a friendly reminder, these brief spin-up tornadoes cannot be ruled out. That's why tornado watches do remain in effect tonight. Worst of the rainfall, the heaviest of the rain consistently here across DeSoto County, extending into Sarasota. Of course, the heaviest, though, a bit farther up toward the north, especially affecting Manatee County into the Bay Area, including Tampa. And you see that dark green, that bright green right there, that's the Peace River under a flood warning already. And this is an area that will be rising along with Horse Creek and the Myakka River. So because of that storm surge, because of the positioning of Charlotte Harbor, all of that water is going to be forced up. Myakka River is going to be forced up the Peace River. It will also be forced up the Caloosahatchee. And that's why the storm surge concerns are there across the board. Now, notice this from say Immokalee stretching up toward LaBelle, western Hendry County. We continue to see more of that moderate to even heavy rainfall in places. As for those peak gusts, let's update things for you here. Pagefield still peak gust here, 55 miles per hour. Venice peak gust 51. Winds are still out of the southeast here at 32 miles per hour sustained. So I'm just waiting for this to shift. Once those winds shift later on this evening, they become southwesterly. That's when we'll really start to see that storm surge go up. The worst of it expected after nightfall. So from midnight through about 6 a.m. that's when the worst of the storm surge is expected. Of course, that's the most dangerous time because anybody who gets scared, maybe the water starts to rise in your home, you need to go ahead and identify the highest point in your home should the water rise. That way you're prepared, because the last thing you want to be is on the roadway trying to avoid it. Other maximum wind gusts out there, 33 miles per hour right now in Clewiston, 38 miles per hour here in Golden Gate, 43 for Marco Island, as well as Naples and Bonita Springs. Here in the last few minutes, Sanibel reporting those maximum wind gusts around 50 miles per hour. So that will lead to these isolated to scattered outages. And while I'm not expecting long-term outages here in Southwest Florida, we do need to be prepared for maybe 1 to 2 days of inconvenience. Hey, we've gone through it. We've been through it with Ian. Worst of it's definitely going to be up toward our north from Tampa to Winter Haven, for example, where the worst of the winds will be. Nonetheless, we will still here in Southwest Florida have those isolated to scattered outages overnight with improvements expected through the day tomorrow. Guys.